Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me, except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
The maps come with me. No. When do we start?
Welcome back to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast. I don't know, we're fine. We're here.
Yes, I'm back from a 5-day vacation, in which I listened to some other podcasts.
Blasphemy.
Well, no, I was just trying to listen and get some ideas. Have you ever listened to Joe Rogan's podcast?
Never.
Oh, dude, you need to listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. Also, there's a really good disc golf podcast out there where they do what they call a deer review at the end of their show. They review a beer and a disc, which is it was a really neat listen. But no, you need to listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. It's kind of exciting.
I don't listen to these big name people.
Well, no, I felt that in order to help branch out our podcasting,
Learn a thing or two.
Listen to other podcasts. What makes them really good?
You know, it's funny.
Like advertising, that'd be nice.
Well, we have to times our audience by about 20 times.
Oh, okay.
And then we can reach out to advertisers, is what I've learned from reaching out in the past. But we're getting there.
Nice.
Actually, our numbers are really good this month.
Oh, they're back after the whole kerfuffle with everything?
I don't know. I feel like I'll have a better idea next month what they actually are, because I just see kind of the average number of subscribers.
I feel like our show has fallen into a pretty decent formula, a decent rhythm.
Well,
we open up, we have a little bit of a banter. We talk about our numbers a lot, about how many people aren't listening. Yeah. And we do the news.
Actually, we're winning this month compared to the other show.
Oh, good.
It's not a huge leap and bound over, but we're a little over 100 over this month.
Oh,
compared to last month, we were about about 100 under.
Well, you know what a 1-point win is?
100 points.
No, a 1-point win. It's still a win.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, last month we were about 100 under. This month we're about 100 over.
All right, good for us.
Yeah.
Well, it's consistent at least. We're right in the ballpark.
Ooh, baby.
But no, there's some interesting other pieces to podcasting. I think we need to find some guests. Get some guests on the show.
I already did that. You weren't there.
That was one time. 1 out of 65 episodes, 1/65th. You can't get very far on a 65th of anything.
I am the guest. I am the star.
You can't be the star.
Come for me. Whatever, I don't care. You know what's funny? We had another quick, I'm going to fix this one faster, little mix up with our podcast where all of our episodes were erased except for episode 1, and I was trying to figure it out. So I listened back to about the first 30 seconds. Rough.
Was it bad?
Oh, yeah. I was super flat. I'm like, welcome to the Editor's Note podcast. But I set a tone almost immediately. You said something, and the first thing you said, I made fun of. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm consistent.
Well, there it is, right away.
Literally the first thing. Okay. I'm far more animated now.
Yes, you don't wait for me to set you up to make fun of me. You just go right for it.
Oh, boy.
How was your weekend? Anything exciting?
No, and that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, just low key.
My house is much cleaner.
Oh, that's good.
It's not a bad thing.
That's good. My house is about the same.
I know, I went to your house.
It's not bad.
It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, you went to my house and you left with an offering of fine beers.
Didn't kill your cat. So.
Didn't kill my cat, which I'm grateful for. I had a great time on my vacation, my camping and disc golfing trip.
Didn't get a speeding ticket this time.
Didn't get a speeding ticket
That's
this time.
right. Annual events, baby. They're here now.
Yeah, a year ago.
Don't bother listening back a year from what I heard. Jesus.
The gist of a year ago is I got a speeding ticket while golfing and discing and wait, hold on. Let me rephrase that. I got a speeding ticket while camping and disc golfing, and this year I did not get a ticket while camping and disc golfing. You know what helped me avoid getting a ticket?
Not driving?
I didn't drive for 5 days. It was great.
Well, that'll do it. But from there, let's get into the news.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
Let's start off first and foremost with some comic book news. There's a bit of it this week. All Marvel.
Let's marvel at the Marvel news.
Well, let's start out with the one that I'm marveling at.
Okay.
So for a couple of years now, for the first time in publication history, and it's not new news now, but Fantastic Four has not been published, which basically Marvel has never come out and said, but it's basically a big middle finger to Fox. Like, we're not going to publish your book anymore.
Let me guess. Are we going to start getting Fantastic Four books?
Maybe. And I'm going to get into what it might be with our next story. But Current editor-in-chief, Axel Alonso. Fantastic porn name.
Wow.
It is.
It's a good action star name too.
I think most action stars would be good porn names, except for maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, that wouldn't work.
It's a terrible porn name.
Like Brock Steele,
Yeah, good.
Conrad Stonebanks.
These are real people?
These are character. Well, the first one I made up. The second one's like a character in The Expendables.
Okay.
There's a couple other good ones, like Hail Caesar. It's a good name, solid name.
Back in the days when actors would make up names like Rip Torn.
Rip Torn, yes.
Aggressive porn name.
That would be uncomfortable porn.
But an image was released of Ben Grimm wearing his old Fantastic Four shorts, but instead of having a 4, he had a 2 on his belt.
That's not 4. That's half of 4.
Well, the unpopular characters haven't been mentioned in a couple of years. Ben and Johnny are going about on different teams. Reed and Sue are wherever the hell. They're still in space. We talk about them sometimes, but don't actually see them. But the information with Ben Grimm with a 2 on his belt instead of a 4 might not be the announcement of a new Fantastic Four book. But instead, last Friday, Marvel announced that they were going to be doing something called Marvel Legacy, and the internet went wild, and probably unnecessarily so.
It sounds like typical internet.
I would call it a bad press release, because the way it was presented is, Marvel releases 52 brand new titles. I'm like, that can't be real. That's insane. Like, they've rebranded like 7 times in the last 5 years. And they just went through that retailer summit and they got all that backlash. This can't be a thing. And to a point, it's not. Like, there was a bigger backlash than there should have been. I'm like, all right, well, let's go through all these titles. And I'm flipping through them. I'm like, these are mostly what's happening right now with a few new ones. So they're essentially just slapping a new label on things and trying to create a jumping on point without actually changing that much.
Okay.
Looking through it, and I'm not going to get into every title because I don't feel like reading off like 60 titles. There were more than the initial 52 announced. Some of them got rebranding. Like, instead of just having a regular Deadpool book, it's now Despicable Deadpool.
Oh, the alliterative thing there.
Yeah.
Like the Amazing Spider-Man. Well, that's not alliterative at all.
Not even a little.
No.
Literally not one letter.
Spectacular Spider-Man.
There you go.
That was a thing.
Closer, yep. Sensational Spider-Man.
That was also that, yeah. Uncanny X-Men, that's kind of alliterative.
Nope.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's the same.
U and X?
Uncanny X. It's the hard vowel sound.
That's not alliterative.
Oh, it sounds good.
There are some absences. There is not going to be a Captain America book leading credence to the idea that Steve Rogers will die at the end of Secret Empire. We are going to be getting a Falcon book, though, which is going to assumably be a number 1.
Different than a Falco record. Rock Me Amadeus.
I almost sang it. Chose not to.
Wow.
Gwenpool is going to...
Steps forward.
Yeah. Gwenpool will be getting a rebranding as Gwenpool the Unbelievable. Instead of a totally awesome Hulk book, there's going to be going back to the old title of Incredible Hulk.
Also, you said like Mediocre Hulk. Why do they ever do that? Like, instead of an Amazing Hulk, it's Mediocre Hulk.
No one wants that. Instead of just a Hulk book, there's going to be a She-Hulk book. Ghost Rider's coming back, baby. Spirits of Vengeance, plural. So we're probably going to see Daniel Kitch and Johnny Blaze.
What about like, Average Guy?
Probably not.
I'd read Average Guy. I feel like I could connect with him.
And then the one that probably is going to be the reason for that too is The Return of Marvel 2-in-1. That was the title.
Okay. I thought you had like more to say to that.
No, it's just an old Marvel title. It's going to be interesting to have it back. They would just have 2 stories in one comic. They do that from time to time. They haven't done that in probably 3-4 years now.
Like same characters, like same story
No,
arc?
one comic, just 2 totally different stories that are just short stories.
Oh.
So it looks like that's what the Fantastic Four tweet was about the return of Marvel 2-in-1, which is fine. It's good. It was an old, fun book. I have no complaints about it. A few books are getting the axe. The weird one to me was Moon Knight was just canceled, and now they're going to do Moon Knight immediately thereafter. I'm like, okay.
Is it going to be Majestic Moon Knight?
No, just
Marvelous Moon Knight.
Regular old Moon Knight. They just canceled
Magical
that book,
Moon Knight.
and he's back.
Oh. Manly Moon Knight.
Schizophrenic Moon Knight.
That's not alliterative.
That's what he is.
Oh. Is it Manic Moon Knight?
Yeah, that would work.
Yay!
Manic Moon Knight. Holy, right into Marvel. Woo! They take anyone from what I've seen.
Marvel's Manic Moon Knight.
But overall, I think there was a bigger reaction to this than was necessary. It's whatever. They're just slapping another title on it to try and be like, it's a good jumping on point while continuing with everything that was already happening and adding a few titles and subtracting a few titles, but not like 52. Also, pick a different number than 52.
Seems like that's a common
literally
number.
any number.
51.
Yeah, anything would be better than 52 when they did their first announcement. Like,
The Fantastic
Jesus.
50. Yeah, you could create some confusion with the new 52.
Yeah, no kidding. It looks like a new Netflix series has been accidentally announced, although this is not confirmed. This is purely speculative. Take it as that. A new line of Marvel Legends action figures was announced, all fine and dandy, and it focuses around the Netflix shows. So we have a Daredevil, we have a Luke Cage, an Iron Fist, a Jessica Jones. But this line had two others, and one of them we already know is coming, Bullseye, who we're going to see in Daredevil Season 3. And then there was a Blade, not Wesley Snipes.
Oh.
So this is all directly connected to the TV show, and all of the figures seem to be based around the actors playing these characters, and then they also added Blade. So the rumor mill has started that there will be a Blade Netflix show. Not confirmed in any way, shape, or form. Just speculative based on toys. Toys spoil things all the time.
Toys are the best.
We don't usually talk about all of the toy spoilers.
The only time I was spoiled about toys is when I didn't get to get the cool toys. I got a rock once, and we painted it, and I was like, oh, here has a baseball.
Did you read my most recent article on whatculture.com?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, there's a thing about rocks that got painted.
Oh.
That's why I was asking.
No,
Very specific.
I haven't given you your money click yet this month.
Ah, damn it.
Sorry, I'll get right on that.
I need those clicks.
You need that money.
It gets me the money.
Yeah, because the money is good. So, funny story. On my disc golfing trip, we played this place called Newton Hill, which is in like the heart of Worcester, the rough part of Worcester. So we went to another course, and they were asking about where we had played, and we said Newton Hill. And Newton Hill was relatively rough. Like, there was a lot of broken glass everywhere, clothes just as like strewn about. Like, I wonder if people were just like, galloping and gallivanting through the park naked. I heard a lot of sirens. Pretty sure I heard a gunshot. But anyway, back to the story at hand. We're talking to some people about places that we had played. One of the last courses we played, and we said, "Oh, you played Newton Hill." He's like, "Oh, really? And you survived?" Yeah. He's like, "I've been there several times, and I've been involved in altercations that I felt may have required at least a blade to resolve." And we're like, "Oh my."
He shouldn't be surprised if you survived if he's like, I've done it multiple times.
That's a good point. But I think it's just because, like, oh, we're from Maine. But the fact that it was like, the guy said, I've been involved in altercations up there that escalated to the point where I felt it may be necessary to have a blade. That's saying something.
A daywalker. No, different thing. And then the big news of the week, which pissed me off.
Oh, no.
Well, less the news and more that it literally broke while we were recording.
Oh.
I was like, and I saw it right afterwards. Damn it.
What do we miss?
That Phil Lord and Chris Miller were fired from the Han Solo movie.
Oh, we talked about it afterwards, I think. Or somebody else talked to me about it.
I tweeted about it afterwards, but that literally
yes.
dropped while we were recording. I was so pissed off.
We could have had a scoop.
It's like, we wouldn't have had a scoop, but we at least would have been timely about it. Now we're a week behind.
Oh.
It literally dropped when we were recording.
A day late and $1 short.
Damn it. No, it's a week late and many dollars short. So they were fired. And they didn't know they were going to get fired. There had been a lot of upset on the set. And I guess things had seemed okay until they put an assembly cut together. And they were like, this isn't working. And there's a lot of rumor and speculation flying around. So I'll at least clarify what's definitely fact and what's definitely rumor. Fact comes down to they had no idea they were going to get fired. They knew there was tension. They thought they could work it out. They could not. As to where that comes in either Lawrence Kasdan, the writer, or Kathleen Kennedy, who produces all the new Star Wars movies now, it's not 100% clear. But what's crazy is they only had 2 weeks left of shooting.
That's not good.
And they had scheduled reshoots, but they only had 2 weeks left of shooting. That movie has to be not coming together to fire them 2 weeks before its principal photography is done.
Who's going to pick up the directing role?
Do you really not know this?
I don't.
Oh, well, it's already happened. But before that, because I want to build a little bit for this news, it's been out for days now. This has happened. I can only think of one other instance of this happening. That would be with Richard Donner with Superman 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because he shot the majority of that movie before he was canned. I mean, originally Superman 1 and 2 were all one massive movie. That's why you see like all the like Zod and the other Kryptonians getting imprisoned in Superman 1, because he had a plan for a like 3-hour movie, which sounds like a terrible plan.
Yes.
But then he shot most of Superman 2, and then he was fired. And after this happened, there was a short list released of possible replacements, and then we did get a replacement this week, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about this. A lot of people are excited. I'm more lukewarm on it. And Ron Howard. I don't know. I haven't seen Ron Howard doing anything in a while that I was excited about. He did that movie with Hemsworth like in 2013 that was well received, but I never saw it. What was it called? I don't remember. I'm not going to look it up.
What about Inferno? I haven't seen that one.
Don't care for it. He hasn't done anything in a while that
you don't like you don't like Dan Brown stuff?
No.
You didn't like Angels and Demons or Da Vinci Code?
Angels and Demons I never saw or read.
Did you not like Da Vinci Code though?
No, not really.
Why not? The book of the
short
movie.
chapters that all ended on cliffhangers, and then the end is really weird. And I didn't really like the movie because it seemed like it was more of a hair-based movie. Like, ooh, Tom Hanks changed his hair, so this means this movie is different.
I like the movie.
It's not for me. Which is fine. If other people like it, that's whatever. But
I kind of like Angels and Demons a little bit better.
But Ron Howard, to his credit, he's known about Star Wars before most people knew about Star Wars because he was on the set of American Graffiti.
Ah, true, yes.
And I guess he did an interview this week where he was talking about how like he was asking George like on the set, like, what's your next thing going to be? And he started talking to him about Star Wars before Star Wars was ever a thing. So he has a history with it. As far as Phil Lord or Chris Miller being fired, I don't know. I feel like Disney was trying to recapture some of the magic that they got with the Russo brothers. Like, oh, we took these guys who came from like the world of comedy, and then they produced these amazing Captain America movies. And what if we tried that with another kind of low-budget comedy duo kind of guys, like the 21 Jump Street guys and the Lego Movie guys? Like, they can pump out a dramatic Star Wars movie, and this is rumor. This goes back to the rumor side of it that I can't prove necessarily, but they were saying, like, the movie got, like, super meta, and there was a lot of improv on set, and supposedly Alden, I'm not even going to try on the last name, young Han Solo ratted them out. So who knows? But what's interesting to me is Ron Howard put out a statement saying that he wasn't going to be reshooting like everything that they did. It wasn't like a kind of start from scratch thing. When it comes down to the Directors Guild, you need to, I don't remember, I want to say it's like 65%, but don't quote me on that number. That to be credited as the director of a movie, you need to have shot X number of percent to be counted as director. So even if there's stuff that he doesn't reshoot everything, he's going to have to reshoot a good chunk of it just to be able to get director credit on it. I think it's 65%, but I might be off on that number.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Which that random factoid popped back to my brain when you were asking, like, how is Joss Whedon going to be credited? I don't know.
That's a good point.
So yeah, Howard's not
Associate
reshooting.
director, maybe?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm assuming co-director, but I could be wrong. I don't know how that would work. But yeah, so Ron Howard is coming in. He says he's not reshooting everything, but just to get his percentage, to get director credit, he's going to have to reshoot a good chunk. So we'll see. I mean, it's Star Wars, and I know a lot of people have turned on these new Star Wars movies. I haven't. I still like them.
I really enjoyed Rogue One.
Yeah, so did I. So, I hope this is good. And even if it's not, we still got a fair number of other Star Wars movies coming that will be good. This is probably the one I care the least about, though.
Well, I mean, we're coming up closer and closer and closer to the main event.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Episode 8. I'm excited about Episode 9.
It feels just like yesterday we were watching Episode 7 and leaving the theater going, wow, that was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was great. I don't care what anyone says. I loved it.
Yeah, I'll enjoy what I like. So outside of that news that dropped a week ago, news for a Watchmen HBO series was announced, with potentially having Damon Lindelof be the showrunner. And a lot of people were questioning this because he was one of the 2 showrunners of Lost, which a lot of people hate the ending of. And we already have a fairly faithful adaptation of Watchmen, which is divisive to say the least, but on HBO...
The question on everyone's mind is, will we get Dr. Manhattan penis?
Of course you will. No, the real question on everyone's mind is, are you just
Will it be CG penis?
I'd prefer that.
Yeah, I think the actor would prefer that too. Would you want your penis get painted blue all the time?
No, I suppose. Not a thing I've ever thought about in my life.
I know it's an awkward question, but really there's no easy way to ask that of a man.
But it's unclear, because we already do have a fairly faithful adaptation of Watchmen, except for the ending, which doesn't have a giant squid. But if they're going to incorporate other stuff, like maybe the Watchmen RPG game, or the before Watchmen comics, or any of that other stuff, if it would involve that, it's kind of unclear, and I don't know, I guess I don't mind taking another crack at Watchmen. It's a great story if you want to try it again.
Cool names like Ozymandias.
Yeah, do it, I guess. Just don't screw it up. General rule for everything. Speaking of things not to screw up, the villain of the Venom movie has been announced.
Is it Venom?
It's Carnage.
Are Venom and Carnage going to fight?
I'd imagine if he's the villain.
Well, I mean, how do you have a villain of a villain?
By having one of them be a redneck serial killer.
But isn't the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend?
Carnage is bat guano crazy.
Ah.
Trying to make editing easier on myself.
Bat guano, nice job. Nocturnal flying rat feces, crazy.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on this movie, but...
You know why? It's a Venom movie without Spider-Man in it.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
We didn't get enough Venom versus Spider-Man last time. I have thoughts on that. I'll rant all day.
So I would like to give props to everyone in America. I don't know if we have international listeners. I don't see a breakdown of anything like that. Probably not. But
congratulations, world.
No, this is more America, and screw the world. Good job, America. Transformers 5 has the lowest opening weekend of any of the Transformers movies.
Well, good for them.
Keep doing what you're doing and not watching the movie. It's still doing well, but it's still the lowest.
It never hit number one.
Internationally, it's doing okay. But their opening, I'm throwing this in air quotes, weekend is the lowest. And they put this movie out on Tuesday. So Tuesday is, like, their weekend is counting Tuesday through Sunday. And it's still the lowest.
Really?
Keep doing what you're doing and not watching that movie.
Is it number one in the box office?
I think Wonder Woman still is.
Go Wonder Woman. I'll pull it up on...
I'd have to check the numbers, but yeah.
Wow. Top box office. Transformers The Last Night did win the weekend with $44.7 million, but a 15% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, don't watch this movie. Keep doing what you're doing, everyone.
Wonder Woman, $25 million. Cars, $24.1 million. The Mummy, 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. All Eyes on Me. Is that a Tupac biop?
Yeah, it is.
That sounds kind of cool.
I can't wait to see that. The trailers look good.
Yeah.
Bad ratings, but
yeah,
he looks just like Tupac.
He does. Rough Night.
We don't need to do the whole box office breakdown.
Guardians of the Galaxy still in the top 10.
I know. Here's a weird thing that was announced today. Apparently, we've seen Spider-Man in the Marvel movies before Civil War.
Really?
In Iron Man 2, during the really crappy third act, second worst Marvel movie, after the Hulk, there's a little kid in an Iron Man mask that you could buy in a store near you who raises his hand to a random drone that's about to shoot him. Iron Man flies down, blows up the drone, and flies off. He's like, "Good work, kid." It's been confirmed that that kid is Spider-Man.
Peter Parker?
Yeah.
Really?
Stupid.
What?
It's a dumb thing.
That's like the whole internet rumor that Jessie from Toy Story was owned by Andy's mom.
I haven't heard that. I don't really care either.
Like that.
And the last bit of news, which was exciting, Jonathan Frakes is back, baby.
Yes, the Frake.
No one's ever called him that.
I just did.
Okay.
So you can't say no one's ever called him that. Jay Frakes, baby.
Jonathan Frakes is going to come back to direct an episode of Star Trek Discovery. If you don't know who Jonathan Frakes is,
you're probably not listening to the right podcast.
Go Frakes yourself.
You've been waiting to make that joke.
Just made it up.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did, and I'm happy I did.
I'm on the fence about it. I'll let you know later how I feel.
Whether or not I just made it up or not.
Well, no, about how I feel about it. I'm still processing.
Jonathan Frakes, of course, played, by the end of everything, Captain Riker in Star Trek The Next Generation and subsequent movies, directed 2 of the movies.
Captain of the Titan.
And directed many episodes. He's going to come back to direct an episode of the upcoming Star Trek Discovery, and is also going to direct an episode of the Seth MacFarlane parody series, The Orville. So, Frakes is back, baby. Main Zone Frakes.
I don't think he's Main Zone. He had
He's
property
Main Zone.
from Maine.
He taught classes here. He lived here.
Yeah, I mean,
Main zone Frakes.
that's like saying,
Go Frakes yourself.
okay, fine. I'm not going to argue with you anymore. You're right. I'm wrong.
God, that's all I ever want to hear.
This one time.
No, always and forever.
No, not true. Is that all we have for news?
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? That means it's time for Jared's Reading Corner.
Not listening.
You're not listening?
Well, no, it's not. We don't have vinyl this week.
Oh. Yeah, it's reading.
Yeah,
not
we're
listening.
back. We're back.
I thought you were
reading
just saying,
words.
I'm not listening to you. Will you do your reading corner? And
No.
I'm like, well, you're more than welcome to leave, and I'll do a detailed, in-depth analysis, and you can go Frakes yourself.
Here we go.
It's Jared's Reading Corner.
So, this week, in honor of Spider-Man Homecoming coming out, but with Michael Keaton returning to the comic book world playing the Vulture, we're going to be talking about the Vulture's first appearance in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, with a release date of 1963, written by Stan Lee, with pencils and inks by Steve Ditko.
What is it with Keaton recently with wanting to play bird characters?
Birdman.
Birdman?
Spider-Man even calls him Birdman a bunch in this.
I'm sure he
which
does.
is funny.
I also like
You
this.
read it, so I feel like you should know.
Yes. Was this a 2-for-1?
Yeah, so in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, we're not talking about the whole issue. The first half of this book is dealing with the Vulture. The second half is dealing with the Tinkerer, who is also going to be in the movie. But if you're curious to read this issue that we're going to talk about, and many other Vulture-related books, you can buy The Amazing Spider-Man versus the Vulture on sale now in Editor's Note Comics.
What a deal. It's amazing that we have that.
There's a lot of Vulture stories in there, but if you want to find more about the Vulture, read about it now.
Yes. Real quick question. I like that Spider-Man it's not really a question so much as a statement, but the two great new Spider-Man thrillers, two great new super villains featuring the Vulture and Spider-Man is trapped by the terrible Tinkerer.
Oh, they're being trapped by the Diddler.
Okay. So yes, give us a little more history here.
Yeah, that's really about it. We're dealing with the two Spider-Man co-creators. This is the third official Spider-Man story. Before this, we had Amazing Fantasy 15 that introduced the character of Spider-Man. And then after that, we had the Amazing Spider-Man #1, where Spider-Man was nowhere near popular enough to star in his own book, so it guest starred the Fantastic Four, Marvel's moneymakers, like they were at the time.
Yes.
And now we really have Spider-Man on his first solo adventure.
Yes. I love the language in this, by the way.
All the 60s language.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is your first Silver Age book.
This is.
In Silver Age books, I mean, when I started reading when I was younger, I could not appreciate or understand the appeal of Silver Age books. Now I just enjoy the hell out of them.
I love the use of the language. Like, the first words you read on the first panel is like, Spider-Man, his name makes the underworld tremble. So cool. Followed by, what fantastic power can the Vulture have, which makes him so sure he can defeat Spider-Man?
Turns out
it's not really a fantastic power at all.
His power is magnets.
A way to spoil it for everybody before we get into the whole reading corner.
Stanley doesn't understand science.
No, he doesn't.
Especially the Silver Age, where he's just like, magnets! Hey, Spider-Fan!
Yes. Yeah. For days, a new and ominous danger has menaced the vast city of New York. How cool is that language? I love it.
Stan's a bit of a talker.
Yes.
He's a wordsmith.
And, by the way, I thought Now magazine, as opposed to the Daily Bugle.
Yeah, it changed later.
I guess it did. I love it. It's like the first appearance of J. Jonah Jameson. It has to be, doesn't it?
Second.
We
open over a New York skyline where the Vulture just picks a purse because he's just there.
Well, it's funny. The guy is like, it's the Vulture. He stole my briefcase with a fortune in bonds.
Oh, I apologize. It's a briefcase, not a purse.
Who walks around with a briefcase full of valuable bonds anymore? That's all electronic.
I don't know. You go to Comic-Cons, you see people with briefcases and handcuffs attached to their wrists.
Huh.
And then half the time it's worthless.
Probably.
What? No, I've seen it. It's like, oh, what does he have in there? I'm like, those are worth like maybe $15.
Oh, well, you know what? It's valuable to them. I don't know, so I'd go so far, like, if I was going to take something into, like, a comics
I'm
show
sure
or
there are examples, I'm sure, of more valuable ones, but I've seen plenty of times, like, people be, like, over dramatic, like, I have my briefcase. It's attached to my wrist. And then they open it up. I'm like, that's not worth that much.
That's kind of like if you're like trying to not have your thing stolen, you're only drawing attention to yourself because you've handcuffed a briefcase to yourself.
Yeah. But the Vulture steals everything, and this is going to be reported on by the official newspaper of Spider-Man, Now Magazine. Gets changed later to the Daily Bugle.
Yes.
That's all I have to say about Now Magazine.
Yeah, I love what the panel. So we have young Peter Parker who's in the science lab.
Yeah, he's still in high school at this point. Peter
Yes.
Parker would be in high school for the first, I forget the exact number, 16 or 18 issues of Amazing Spider-Man.
He's in the science lab and he's finding out that Now Magazine is going to pay for pictures of the Vulture. And he's thinking about it. And the teacher goes, I don't expect you to ignore a delicate experiment right in the middle where you pour through a magazine, through a lurid picture magazine, Parker. Pay attention. So his professor thinks he's looking at like a skin mag in the school and does nothing about it.
I mean, it's the 60s.
Which also, the cost of the magazine, 25 cents, more than the cost of the comic book, which is 12 cents.
Yeah.
Well, at the time.
Those magazines are pricey things.
Didn't you have like a original copy of this that you had sold?
No, I had the earliest Spider-Man I've had in the store is number 6.
Oh.
I haven't had a number 2.
Is that the one that you pushed through on eBay? Didn't you have one on eBay?
Yeah, I did sell that one on eBay. That's how that one went.
Anyway.
What a boring story. I sold a comic on eBay. Yes.
So the Vulture, he's kind of really, there's no motivation, and he's ugly as sin, man. What's going on with him?
It's really funny. Spider-Man has a few elderly villains, and this is the first one.
And he kicked his butt in their first meeting.
Yeah, what's funny is the Vulture is like senior citizen age. Like, there's stories with him in retirement homes, and he still goes toe-to-toe with Spider-Man. This old man will not be put down. And he goes and hangs out in his silo.
Yeah.
This silo comes back many times in the Vulture books.
In an abandoned silo in Staten Island, just a few seconds from the heart of Manhattan. Obviously, he doesn't have to drive through the Lincoln Tunnel.
No.
He's got, he can beat the traffic.
But this silo, this keeps coming back. And that silo, what's that silo look like to you?
A rocket ship?
Yes, a rocket ship.
That may or may not be sexual in nature.
A sexy rocket ship.
It's quite an erect silo over here.
But he goes to his sexy silo.
All right, if you want to call it that. Looks like a thatched roof. Oh, he's also got a little well, too. Did you ever notice that?
He needs water.
Oh, good, yes. Speaking of, as Peter Parker's trying to steal pictures of the Vulture catches him and kicks him in the back of the head and dunks him in a water tower.
Well, after he leaves a note for the police, he's like, I'm going to steal these diamonds. They're going to be transported. Ha 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 ha. He just announces himself.
Where did he keep the rocks with the messages on them in his little costume there?
Probably just carried a rock from his silo to the police station.
Fair enough.
Threw it through a window. So yeah, after he kicks Spider-Man to the back of the head, knocks him out, and throws him in a water tower.
We get a good indication of what he might be capable of with superpowers.
Spider-Man or the Vulture, because Spider-Man really inner monologues about all of his potential powers. So I can't stick to the side of this water tower with my extra sticky hands.
That's a lot of show, and that's a lot of tell and don't show here.
It's really 50-50. It's show and tell.
Yes, but more tell than show.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's so Silver Age. Like, you have to either say out loud or be constantly thinking about, like, my powers do this. Like, my favorites are always like, that bomb is going to go off in less than a second unless I can reach it in time over there on the other side of the city. Like, that took more than a second to think about. And just, I could pull up examples of that, but it's stuff like that. I mean, that's so Silver Agey. It's just constantly either announcing what you're doing or, in this case, thinking about what you're doing.
But he goes back, Spider-Man does, to his
Well,
little...
you didn't even say that he escaped.
Oh yeah, he escaped using a fantastic powers of...
Jumping.
Jumping.
There's a sweet vertical.
Through all this water, which if I'm a member of, like, the community, and I found out Spider-Man was, like, skinny dipping in my little water tower, I'd be pissed. Well, he wasn't really skinny dipping, but you know what I mean. Why wouldn't the top of this water tower have been locked? How did the Vulture get open and drop Spider-Man in it? Can I ask you that?
I don't know. I assume most people don't think that other flying creatures are opening the tops of water towers.
Well, anybody could climb up the ladder to the top of the water tower and put stuff in people's water.
Why would you do that?
Ra's al Ghul did it.
Why would you do that?
Because he wanted to poison the minds of the people of Gotham. set them free and to destroy each other.
No, he evaporated all of the water except just selective water that wasn't like inside your body.
Listen,
Look, it doesn't make sense.
you're getting the semantics here. Anyway, Spidey gets home and needs to make some adjustments to his tool belt, including a camera. It's the first GoPro right here. Spider-Man had the first GoPro.
Yeah, so this is interesting. This issue is the one that introduces the idea of Spider-Man as a photographer. So he retrofits his belt to become a camera so he can take photos of the Vulture while he's fighting him.
Also, can we point out that like Aunt May has to be like the dumbest aunt in the world to not know what's going, or she just does it like so nonchalant. Like Peter Parker is running a laboratory as a high school student outside of his room, creating these web slingers and all of this stuff. And Aunt May's just like, that's cool. Where does he get all the money for it?
Well, we're going to find out where he gets all of his money.
That's a good point. Very good point. Some of this just great.
Right now it's from life insurance, because Uncle Ben just recently died.
That's also that's a morbid yet probably accurate point. Young Peter Parker shows up in a 3-piece suit and talks to J. Jonah Jameson about pictures to sell them.
Get me a good picture of the Vulture and I'll pay you handsomely.
And then get me a picture of Spider-Man.
That menace.
And then Peter Parker's like, well, if you only knew, buddy. Which J. Jonah Jameson is like really employing child labor. There's no background check on this Peter Parker guy.
They don't really show it as much anymore. It used to be such a characteristic of Spider-Man. The most intense widow's peak.
He's got one going on right there.
Like, think of the kid from the Munsters. About the same level of intensity.
Also, he wears a 3-piece suit to school. He's a fancy dresser, that Spider-Man.
You know what? He deserves to be bullied.
Yep. Wow. Yeah, probably.
If you saw someone show up in a 3-piece suit in a high school, you'd be like, you know what? You deserve this.
But they're moving the diamonds, and they're concerned about the diamonds being stolen. So what does everyone do? They go and line a parade route for an armored truck of diamonds.
Because the Vulture said he was going to steal them, so everyone expects the Vulture from above, but he just pops out of a manhole. He's like, haha, I got them, suckers!
That is actually quite smart, actually. I give him props for that. So he flies through the tunnels of the subway and then out of the sewer in the subway, flies out of a tunnel, and people are like, oh wow, look, it's the Vulture. And he thinks he's gotten away, but guess who has spidey senses?
The Vulture just happens. There's no explanation. He's just there. He's just a dude that flies. His origin wouldn't be explained for 20 more years.
He's just there.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's a real crap origin.
Don't ruin it.
I mean, I'm happy to ruin it because it's really hard to ruin. It's about as boring as it comes.
Oh. Well, no, I don't want boring. I want exciting tonight.
I can't help it. I can't make the origin more exciting.
Fine, that's the origin.
He had a business partner who embezzled money and didn't give him his fair cut.
That would make me mad, but probably not turn to a life of crime. I didn't do time for it.
So then he literally destroyed their business. He's like, and now I shall be the Vulture. Just go patent that flying suit and sell it to the military.
Smart.
It'll be fine.
You're smarter than the Vulture.
Yeah.
Everyone's smarter than the Vulture.
That's literally what it was. He had a business partner that embezzled money, and then he got pissed at him.
Wow.
That's his whole origin.
So,
good luck, Spider-Man Homecoming.
They fight in the skies over Manhattan, and Spider-Man has figured out how to turn off the superpower of the supervillain, the Vulture.
An anti-electromagnetic field generator.
So what would happen if he flew too close to a crane or something?
I don't know.
Just saying.
So, yeah, the Vulture is powered by magnets, and Spider-Man turns off his magnets. That's how he flies. Magnets.
And by doing that, the Vulture falls several stories to what could have been his death.
He's already super old. What does he have to live for?
He break a hip.
The elderly have nothing to live for.
Probably not. See if they can see, their families, grandkids, your kids' grandkids. Probably not. That's
so you're just looking for the achievement of others at that point?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Your life as it is right now. I'm
How?
kidding. Actually, you're relatively successful.
I wouldn't use that word.
You're relatively...
But I'm not looking to other successes.
You're relatively owning your own business.
I do relatively do that.
So the Vulture falls from the sky. Spider-Man helps the police apprehend them. And then he takes these pictures to J. Jonah Jameson of his fight with the Vulture. And Jameson is got to be the dumbest guy on the planet. The dumbest guy.
In the Daily Planet?
Yeah,
Nope,
well,
wrong
now
one.
magazine.
Okay.
Because he buys these pictures, and how do you get these pictures, Parker? How do you not notice that those pictures might be like in the middle of the sky?
Hey, he's a talented guy. But here's what's crazy. So Peter gets paid for these photos. He's able to pay his Aunt May's rent for a year just with this one set of photos. I'm not sure if he's getting paid a lot or if rent in Queens is nothing.
He probably gets paid a lot.
Probably. I feel like they're trying to solve plot points really early that you just could have ignored.
Yes. So here's the exciting part. I thought
the Vulture goes to prison in costume.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. But J. Jonah Jameson says, take a bonus, which would totally never happen as the character evolves.
Yeah, characterization would change.
And go out and buy yourself some Twist records. That J. Jonah Jameson, he knows how to get down.
He knows how the kids get funky.
They buy Twist records.
And the Vulture would be the first character to reappear as far as Spider-Man villains go. He would come back in Amazing Spider-Man #7, but we're not going to talk about that one.
No.
I don't know. I think it's fun returning to Silver Age stuff, especially with some characters less than others. Spider-Man is definitely up there.
No, I was entertained by it. I thought it was a neat kind of throwback to old school comics, obviously Silver Age comics. It kind of makes me want to read more about like Spider-Man versus the Vault, like some Spider-Man stories. There's one in the back of the book that looks really good. Speaking of the Jared's Reading Corner, you get a couple other books in it as well. The art looks really good on it. Really different. It's neat to see like the art then.
The progression.
And like, yeah, back to here.
I don't know. Steve Ditko, not an unsung person in comics history, but it's always worth going back and looking at his work. He's still alive. He just hates everything about Marvel. You can contact him directly, but he has like massive hearing loss. He's still working on like these weird independent publications that you can get him to send you, but he never wants to talk about Spider-Man or his other creation, Doctor Strange. He's kind of a crazy recluse.
Huh. Why is that, do you think?
Without going into a ton of detail, a lot of these Silver Age guys got screwed over in a hard way. A lot of the Golden Age guys did too.
Okay.
With their work for hire contracts, where they really got nothing for shaping pop culture today. And I think personality-wise, he was never a very outgoing kind of guy, but he's still alive and he's still working, and he hates everything about Marvel. But from there, let's move on to letters to the editors.
Lot of questions, number one. Damn few answers.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
Make it so.
So here's a weird one.
Yes.
That I enjoyed actually quite a bit.
Okay, I like strange and bizarre.
So, let's say your mom divorces.
Okay.
And she remarries.
Okay.
Which Spider-Man villain would you want as your stepfather?
What the? That is obscene.
I think it's amazing.
Which Spider-Man villain would I want as my stepfather?
There's been a lot of stories in the past of like random villains dating Aunt May. I think it's... Which psychopath would you want as your stepfather? I should have thought about this because I don't have an answer yet.
Almost probably like Green Goblin.
So you chose the craziest.
Well, no, because he's got a ton of money.
Okay, so you're going for the cash.
I'm not choosing. I'm just saying it's a thought. You're really doing a lot of thinking here.
I'm running through a list and like they all suck.
Well, they're a villain.
I guess, yeah.
Does J. Jonah Jameson count? He's a Spider-Man nemesis.
Aunt May married his husband. Or his husband.
Whoa, hey.
Aunt May married his father. There we go. Better that time.
How long did that last?
A good long while. He's dead now.
Oh.
But recently.
Aunt May is the widower. She's kissed death.
She's also died a bunch of times, but let's not deal with that.
No, it's not.
If I had to choose a stepdad from Spider-Man,
I'm going to say J. Jonah Jameson. I'm going with it.
If you want that to be your thing, that's fine.
It's going to be. There's nothing you can do about it.
Because he's not a total psychopath?
Correct. Plus, my stepbrother, would be a friggin' astronaut.
Oh, you know who I'm going to go with?
Who?
The Kingpin. He's a passionate man, a rich man, a dapper man.
Different Kingpin than from Daredevil, though, right?
Daredevil basically stole that villain, but same guy.
Okay.
Originally a Spider-Man villain, and then Frank Miller went, I'm just going to take that guy and put him over here.
Oh, so it is the same person?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it makes sense. New York, Hell's Kitchen, Queens. Yeah. It all works.
I'm going to say the Kingpin. He loved his wife a lot and till she went into the sewers and got raped and then went crazy and
Then
then
that'll
died
do it. That'll
from
certainly do it.
and tried to ruin Daredevil's life. That was a whole thing. But he loved his wife. He was very passionately in love with her, and he has a lot of cash.
What about Otto Octavius?
He has also passionately loved people, but he's ultimately kind of crazy.
Well, like before he had the arms, definitely.
So our picks for dad so far are guys with eating disorders.
Oh.
That's
all I
fine.
got.
They don't need to. I mean, the Kingpin is muscular, just also large. He's tall
He's,
and rotund.
He's hufty.
Hufty puffty, I guess. I don't know. That's
Hefty,
not a thing.
not hufty. I don't
No.
know. I don't know. I'm still recovering from walking 55 miles in 5 days.
My answer is the Kingpin. I'll take a Richmond as my stepfather.
Mm.
Oh,
Nice.
also, that reminds me, we got the best review I've heard of this show so far.
Oh, yeah?
You know how I like some irrational hate?
Yes?
Well, sometimes I like it up close and personal.
Oh, yeah? Please tell. I'm guessing we're out of the reading corner into the end banter sequence of our
Yeah,
show?
basically.
Okay.
But I guess my folks over the weekend got caught in traffic. I'm like, you could have listened to so many podcasts.
Oh, boy.
And my mom was like, no, we couldn't. Your father doesn't let me listen to it. I was like, fair, I guess. But I guess his response whenever my mom puts it on is, are you still wasting your time with this? Which is my new favorite review.
Wow.
Sometimes you don't have to go far for the hate.
Nope, just across the hall.
He doesn't live here.
That's true.
But that's my new favorite review.
Your father's review of the show is, are you still wasting your time with this?
You know, if I take an ad out for this show, which I know I talked about, that will be the quote I put in
Are you
it.
still wasting your time for this?
Yeah.
All right.
It's my new favorite review of the show.
That is a hell of a review.
Speaking of reviews, leave one on iTunes if you could.
Yes, please. Rate, review, and subscribe.
Good yawning. That was good audio.
Sorry. Yes, please. Rate, review, and subscribe.
If you want to find the show, you can find it over on editorsnotecomics.com, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's right, baby. I'm back on Insta. I posted like twice this week
You did. I saw that.
because I got a bunch of new stuff in the store. This whole collection of mostly, it brought me like 20 things. 18 of them were good. But they were already like pre-framed, like the two bad ones I was going to pull out and replace with other stuff, but they're so well in there. I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to sell these with the frames. It's too much of an effort to pull them out.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really good stuff that came in, which I put up on Instagram. But yeah, come check out. There's a bunch of old books that are really good. There's a few that are just outstanding.
And the show, not the show, the store is at 210 Water Street in Hollowell.
Yep.
You're also all over the internet.
Yeah.
With everything.
Yeah, places, things.
Make sure you
shows.
support the show and the other show on the network by going to
patreon.com/editorsnotecomics. $1 a month would get you this show a day early every single week, and my other show, the Buffy Back Issue Bin, a week early. This is a weird week for that.
Yeah, wasn't the episode Is This a Kink Song?
Oh, that was the one that came out today, the one that's coming out, or the one that I recorded earlier tonight that I have to release. It's weird.
Oh.
It's not my fault. It's the material's fault.
Okay, fair enough. How far into the run of the show are you?
I have through episode 27 cut. 18 came out today.
And how many episodes are you shooting for with the show?
It's gonna be like 52, 53.
Oh, so we're getting halfway.
Yeah.
All right.
And you're on Twitter.
Yes, at Junior Rich. I need to start tweeting again now that I'm back from camping. I'll share some pictures from my trip, including maybe the guy with the blade. Actually, we never got a picture of anybody fighting with anybody with a blade.
No knife fights.
There were no knife fights on the trip.
But we'll be back next week to celebrate our patriotism.
Yeah, freedom, baby, America. Woo!
Captain America.
Oh, I'll even wear my Captain America shirt to record the show.
You can.
I can do whatever I want. This is America. America's birthday's coming up a week from tonight.
Which is, yeah, why we're going to do that.
Yes.
We'll be back next week.
July the 4th.
Join us then.
Also the anniversary of Gettysburg.
A lot of things.
Well, Gettysburg ended before the 4th. It was over on the 3rd, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, it's technically there. It happened.
Yes, fair.
We'll be back.
Bye-bye.